I was hanging around town, spending my time. I was out of a job and not earning the dime, when a fella stepped up and he said, I suppose that you're a bronc rider by the looks of your clothes. And then Ken says, no, Michael Martin Murphey, I don't think you're a bronc rider, at least not intentionally, right?
Well, hopefully none of us are intentionally, that's for sure. Hey, welcome to the show. We're glad you're with us this week, and I am so excited. I've got Michael Martin Murphey with us, and all of you know him as a great cowboy singer, and he's been singing the theme song to the television show for the last couple of months for us, and it is so much fun to have you here. Thanks for being with us.
Partner, you bet. It's going to be great.
You know, you're a singing cowboy, but I'm a cowboy that sings in the shower, and that's the first time we've ever actually admitted that I even did that.
Well, you know, singing is got a lot of parallels between that and riding a horse. You just got to do it over and over and over again until you get in tune. Right, and there's a whole lot of horseback riding. I guess from watching your show, it's about tuning the horse up and tuning yourself up.
Yeah, and practice and knowing what you're going to practice, knowing what you're going to do and having a plan until it becomes smooth.
That's true. You know, in guitar playing, practicing the guitar doesn't do any good if you don't have a plan.
Well, you know what, at a lot of clinics, Murph, I have people come to me and they say, don't you just have some miracle sort of thing you can do that'll make my horse and me better? And that's sort of the way my guitar playing is. I own one. I even once or twice a year pick it up and act like I'm going to play it. But I absolutely can't play the guitar, so why don't we make a deal? I'll ride with you a little bit. You teach me to play the guitar a little bit.
All right, you show me a few foundation things, I'll show you a few foundation things.
That works. Good deal. Well, that is coming up right here on Discovering the Horseman Within, right after this.
Now the sun is rising slowly on the mountain you must climb, and the trail that takes you closer to the source. And you dream about the moment when you leave it all behind and climb up on that one true horse. That one true horse, the perfect partner built to ride. One true horse, a bond that cannot be denied. You would search forever just to have the chance to take a ride on one true horse. Gonna take a ride on one true horse.
So Murph, tell me about this singing cowboy deal. How does it work?
Well, you know, there's country singers, there's pop singers, but then if you go back into music history, there were singing cowboys. There were people who actually were cowboys who sang the music about the Western culture. That's where it all comes from. It comes from Texas, same state that I come from. And in 1989, I decided I wanted to be a singing cowboy, not a country singer or a pop singer anymore. And so I decided I would go out to Victorville, California, and I met with the king of the cowboys, Mr. Roy Rogers.
Wow.
And Roy was very, very nice to me. He's very patient. He's very, very good man. And Dale Evans, by the way, was also very nice to me. And I said, Roy, I just want to meet with you, and I just want to talk to you about your career and get your advice.
So what advice did Roy give you?
Well, first of all, he said that if you want to be a singing cowboy, you got to get yourself into a position in life where you don't ever send a kid down the wrong trail.
Wow.
That had a big effect on me. These guys, you know, had a code. It's not like the movie stars today. Roy Rogers, in the over 100 films that he made, once he became Roy Rogers, once he wasn't a bit actor, sometimes playing a bad guy, always played a guy who had a moral code, who had a definite way of living, and they were very, very concerned that they would influence kids to go down the wrong trail if they didn't live the right life. I think that's incredible. I think if you challenge yourself every day, am I doing anything that would send a kid down the wrong trail? It'll cause your life to go better. The other thing he said was, Murph, if you want to be a singing cowboy, you better get yourself a good-looking horse. Right. Because when you get old and ugly, the kids will still like the horse.
Boy, there's a lot of truth in that, even if you're not old and ugly.
Trigger, you know.
Yeah, that's right.
And, and several triggers. And then he started to tell me a little bit about what he would do differently. I said, what's your advice about today? If I want to be a singing cowboy today, he said, well, you're going down a tough trail because Western music is not the popular thing these days. I said, yeah, but whenever I sing a cowboy song on stage, I notice people love it. They react if I sing Red River Valley or Strawberry Roan. He said, is that right? I said, and if I sing your stuff, you know, Happy Trails or any of the old trail songs, they seem to react. So he said, okay, well, here's what I would do. First of all, I would dress like a regular working cowboy or an Old West cowboy. I wouldn't wear the fancy outfits that we wore in our day. He said that was because we had bad lighting. We'd ride into a rodeo arena. They'd maybe have one spotlight if we were lucky. He said you had to have rhinestones on, you had to have fringe, and you had to have a really flashy looking horse. He said, however, you know, nowadays you don't have to have that because you got great lighting. He said you got great sound. He said the other thing is we had to ride in, wave to the crowd, maybe put our horses through a few moves. Then, as soon as we were done, we had to dismount, get on the stage, and sing with the Sons of the Pioneers. He said, but you've got wireless microphones these days. He says, I think you should go get yourself a horse that's a good reiner, that can do some moves. I think you ought to get one of those wireless microphones, and you ought to work up a routine where you actually sing your cowboy songs from the back of your horse.
Sure, yeah.
The other thing, though, is that Roy said, I'm going to give you some videos to watch of things that I did in the arena. And one of the coolest moves that he did was side passing and trotting at the side pass when he came out as he rode down the rail. Instead of riding parallel to the rail and waving at the crowd, he would turn the horse, trot at the side pass, take off his hat, and wave at the crowd.
And be looking directly at him.
I now, since 1989, when he first told me that, to today, I'm still working on that move. Because that's one of the most difficult moves I think you can put a horse through. Yep. And but maybe you can give me a few pointers about how to do it better. You know, it seems like when I try to do that, I'm always getting a little off the axis. The horse is bent a little too much one way or the other, and not just absolutely perpendicular to the crowd. You know. So what do you think about that? You want to show me?
I think so. I think you know
like
it'll be a little bit interesting. You're not on your own horse here, and Superman's a pretty good horse. He's got a lot of feel to him. You know, he's going to move off your leg pretty nice, but he's not yours. And so it'll be a little different as you and him kind of work together. But I think we can work on that. And that maneuver is pretty tough. So what I want to do, honestly, then is let's we'll just kind of
Why don't you show me how to do it?
rail.
Okay,
All
I've
right.
been teaching you some guitar.
That's right.
Let's pretend you're a singing cowboy.
I'm a singing
And
cowboy.
the camera is the crowd, and you're going to come around and you're going to do a
All right.
side pass.
What I want to do, Murph, is put my horse in a box.
Okay.
And that box is going to be me. And so the bit is going to be the forward wall of that box. My leg is going to be the outside wall of that box. My outside leg would be the other wall, okay? And both legs would be the back of the box. So I've got this horse in this square box, and I want to think about where do I want him to go? Well, as I come up here, I want to be able to take my hat off, wave at that crowd, take him across there sideways, and keep him moving, okay? So I want to, as I do that, I want to get him trapped in there and then let him out where I want him.
I know you're thinking in terms of being in a box, but how do you keep him straight if he starts to move off perpendicular to the crowd?
What you want to do, you want to start thinking about your horse's body pushing on the box, okay? So where you're losing your horse frequently is his shoulder. All right, and he's getting his shoulder out here and getting his hind quarter out behind him, and he's not staying straight. So he's pushing the box with this shoulder. Instead of staying straight and moving over here, he's pushing on the front corner of that box and trying to escape out of that box. So I'll slow down a little bit, and I'll come around here, a lot smaller, and I'm going to do it wrong the first time. So as I come here, not wrong, just I'm going to bend him too much.
Okay.
And see how bent, how his hind quarters are kind of behind him there?
Yeah.
And we're coming across here. I'm going to pick up that outside rein. And you see when I lifted on that outside rein, the hind quarters swung over. Okay, and what happens when that hind quarter swings over, and you really want to keep your horse vertical in the bridle, so when that hind quarter swings over, the shoulder has slowed down. And what's happening when the horse is overbent, the shoulder is just leaking out and kind of running away with you. So all of a sudden you got the shoulder out of control going over here. Pick that rein up, slow that shoulder down, let that hindquarter come over, and straighten him out. And think of a straight line, okay? Think of a straight line from your belly button up through your sternum, and it's going to make a perfect right angle and come down and go right out through the horse's mane.
Okay.
And if his neck gets either side of that straight line, then you need to straighten him back out with that second hand and pick up on that outside rein. This is probably, I imagine, like changing chords. You know, probably you can teach me one chord and I can figure it out, but I know that when I go to change chords, I'm going to run into trouble because I'm thinking about the first chord, okay? So you've got to start changing chords and seeing the whole picture at once. You've got great lateral movement, but right there we've got him overbent. So when you're in that arena singing, okay, and you're looking at the crowd, you're going to keep one hand on your bridle, one hand on your hat, and you're singing, okay?
Right.
So, you really can't use your reins to make the lateral movement. What your rein is gonna do, the only thing your bit is gonna do is bring this horse into the bridle and stop him from going forward. And right after that, so right there he wanted to run out forward, so I get him framed up. Right after that, he's gotta ride off of my seat and off of my leg. So I just keep pushing with that leg and moving him over. And doing my best to keep him straight. And use your thumb. You'll notice I ride him with my hand across the horse's mane a lot. Okay? We love when we're on a finished horse to ride him like this. Okay? But when I'm not really there yet, I'm going to ride with my hand across. And what that allows me to do is use my index finger to pick up that outside rein and sort of stop that shoulder from leaking out on me. Okay? So this will probably, right there, I'll just bring him across, pick that rein up right there, pick that rein up, and bring him out through there nice and soft and easy. And for right now, you're really good about keeping eye contact with, in this case, the camera, but with the audience. That's how your life is made. Typically, I don't tell riders to look down. I tell them to look up just like you're doing. This is one time I'm going to tell you to look down so that you can see that straight line start to bend. And if you see it start to bend, pick that rein up, okay? There you go, better, better. Pick that outside rein up, change chords, there you go. All right. Think of it that way, I think. I don't know enough about playing the guitar to really say, but I think when you see that shoulder leaking, if you think about changing chords with that index finger and pick that rein up, there, that's better, that's better. Still losing the shoulder a little bit.
Yeah.
Now, here's one of the advantages you're gonna have.
I got my hands too high, don't you think, Ken?
Oh, for sure, for sure. The lower you can keep your hands, the better. Here's one of the advantages you're gonna have. We're playing with this imaginary rail right here with the audience over there behind the cameras. All right, well, when you actually go into that pen, that rail is gonna help keep your horse from going forward. So you don't have to fight that quite as much, but you wanna really get that momentum and that rhythm up, and you wanna keep him straight. So that outside rein, and really, you wanna balance both reins. Because what you're looking for, this is a very collected move. You know, especially at a training level, I want to get everything right, get that frame right before I ask for the move, get him where I want him, and then as I bring him in here, start him across, and right here, if he starts to lose that hindquarters, I'll pick him up with my right leg and straighten him out. And bring him across there a little bit. Use both legs, use your hands. Okay.
Totally blew it. Totally blew it. Took my hat off too quick.
You were doing good.
Always ready to smile at the crowd a little too soon.
Here's one of the things I keep seeing, and I understand you're doing good. You know, really, I pick on you because that's sort of my job. Later you can pick on me. But as you come across, you're getting your hand right here.
Yeah.
And once your hand's here, you've got no place to go with it.
Yeah.
So think about getting that horse in the bridle, and then bring him across, just as straight as you can. That's a lot better. Your hand placement was 100% better. Everything was good. He got a little bit of bend, and he didn't keep himself in the bridle quite as much as he should. But here's what I want you to do now. I did this with Al Dunning at an expo in Kansas. This was so much fun, and I think it'll help you a little bit. What I want to do is we're going to play follow the leader, okay? You're going to follow my horse around, and what I want you to do, I'm going to tell you what I'm working on, and I want you to work on that behind me.
Okay.
And then what you can do is see where I would have my horse set up before I ask for that. Because we're getting 87.5% of the way there, or maybe better. Okay, so we'll just start right here in a nice trot. Get him moving, get that momentum up. As we trot him around here, now what I want you to do is pick up on both reins and just soften that nose and get him to bring that nose to vertical. Now I'm going to pick my shoulder up, my right hand shoulder, and start this horse across that straight line right there. Now I lost my shoulder, so I'll pick up my outside hand. And then if I feel like
I'm doing it, let me show you how to do it.
Good job. Good job. If I feel like I'm losing that movement, then I just kind of get out of it. You know what I mean? Right out of there.
Now, in that video that Roy showed me, he literally was going this fast.
Sure. Yeah, that horse. And that's one of those things, you know, also, as you work on it, it's, okay. If I watched you change chords, I bet you change chords a whole lot faster than I do.
Right.
Now, do you think I can change chords that fast today?
No.
No. And that's the way it is with the horse. He learns that movement, and then you take that time, let him get that movement down, and then as he gets better and better, you're right, the faster he goes, the better it gets, until, you know, he's going to flow along pretty easy and pretty nice.
So let's just slow it down here.
You want to get him slowed down and let him get that form and that function correct.
He doesn't know what I want him to do. Here we go.
There you go. It's a little better. There.
The problem is if I use my foot, he thinks I'm trying to drive him forward.
And that's where that outside rein, that's where that box comes in.
Yeah.
If you put your leg on him and he starts to, like, I'll leak my horse forward, he leaks forward like that, I'll just grab a hold of that rein right there and say, no, we're staying sideways. And it's a matter of timing. And again, I'm going to make a whole lot of statements about your guitar playing that I really don't know for a fact. But my guess is that you don't think about where to put your fingers when you go to change chords. It becomes a muscle memory. Well, it's going to be the same thing here. As you practice this, at first you really focus on, gee, how do I get this horse square across here? And then all of a sudden you're going, hey, it's muscle memory, and I just pick it up and do it, and it starts to happen, and then you're kind of where you want to be.
Another mistake I think I'm making that I see that you're not doing is once I start moving, you know, like most riders that don't have that much experience with any of this kind of stuff, I'll start to unconsciously pull back.
Yep.
You know, and then he starts to back up.
Right.
Got to make sure I keep it down here.
All of a sudden, there's a second cue to where, all right, let's go across here. Get on this side of me.
Okay.
And you're going to push me across. We're going to trot down. We're going to come up. You're going to get your leg over against that rail as we come around, and then you're going to push me, and we're going to come together across in front of the cameras. All right. We'll just trot off here. Okay. Kind of a synchronized riding deal here.
Okay.
All right, let's get ourselves some more room. Get over here by this fence. Don't push yet. All right, keep him up here. Bring him up, get that movement up. Now just keep him going. Keep that leg on him. Keep that leg on him. Take that hat off. Go on by that audience. Right there. Not bad. Now, you know what? That's about as good as he's done for you. And like I said, it's tough when you're not riding your own horse. But I
gotta remember to keep this leg out too. You know, that's one thing.
Yeah, you
if it goes in like that, he's gonna come back at, you know.
Absolutely, you gotta keep that leg off. And as he slowed down on you a little bit, but actually he came together pretty nice for you. It looked really good. Now it's just like, I'm sure what I'm about to learn is practice.
That's right.
And now is the moment of truth. I'm probably as much of a beginner as anybody who's never sat on a horse. So
That's okay. We can help you with that. Okay. Just like whenever you start to learn to ride a horse, you kind of have to understand how the horse is made. Now, this guitar is set up in a tuning that's been around for about 400 or 500 years. And the way that you get different chords out of it, different sounds, is to make shapes with your hands. And as you make those shapes, then the guitar responds with sounding like it's in, once it's in tune, sounding like the chord that you want. I'm going to teach you a really easy G chord.
Okay.
Just take this little finger, right? And I want you to go all the way across with your third finger, right? Now just hit that. Now just play that.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, Ken McNabb has just played a G chord within less than 1 minute of the time we started this.
Look at
okay.
that.
Now, if you want to hit a C chord, just keep those there.
Okay.
And you're going to hit those two right there.
Okay. Right there and.
Now strum that.
Like that.
Now let that go. Now hit that again. Okay, now I'm not going to expect you to play this in rhythm, but that right there is actually the first two chords of One True Horse. One True Horse. All right, partner.
All right. We're getting
You
there.
picked out a good horse for me, and you showed me some things, and I hope I responded at least a little bit. You certainly responded to the guitar.
Super. Murph, thanks so much for being on the show.
And when does the chuck wagon open?
That's right. Yeah, we'll get D cooking on the chuck wagon. Thank you guys so much for joining us every week. We know you've got options. We appreciate you being here with us. And until next week, may God bless the trails you ride.
Okay, ready? One true horse, perfect partner, built to ride. One true horse.
Something happened. My hand on my arm won't work.
For more information about Ken McNabb Clinics, appearances, and products, visit kenmcnabb.com.
One true horse, the perfect partner built to ride. One true horse, a bond that cannot be denied. You would search forever just to have the chance to take a ride on one true horse. Gonna take a ride on one true